stop the transcription. And okay, so we can just do it like this.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so today we're going to be looking at legal and ethical issues in the field of education. Our goal is to inform our faculty on the current ethical and legal issues that educators face in the field of education. To start, we're going to look at individuals with disabilities. If we're looking at individuals with disabilities, I feel that it's important to start with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This act is to guarantee that special education students have the necessary support to succeed in their education. Um, it also allows for free, appropriate public education, and it is currently servicing over 7 million individuals. The people who are covered under the IDEA are people with autism, deaf, blindness, emotional disturbance, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, other health impairment, specific learning disabilities, and traumatic brain injury. To qualify for IDEA, students must have a disability and need special education in order to advance academically. The other act that I wanted to look at were the Americans with Disabilities Act, specifically Title II. This mandates that state and local governments provide equal access and other services to people with disabilities. This includes public places and the different accommodations that they have to include, like wheelchair accessibility and access to service animals. As educators, how do we accommodate students with disabilities? Students should be in their least restrictive environment. Accommodations should be based off of the student's IEP, and they need appropriate discipline. And with the appropriate discipline, they cannot serve more than 10 days of in-school suspicion if their behavior is a result of their disability. There are a couple of current updates from Congress that includes people with disabilities. March 26th, you had the 45th annual report to Congress, which yet again emphasized providing free and appropriate public education for students with disabilities. And March 21st, the Office of Special Education Program provided up-to-date information for children who have been diagnosed with autism. In the academic school year 2022-2023, states reported between 5% to 17% of students with disabilities have been diagnosed with autism. Here are the sources for this section. The other issue that I wanted to cover were search and seizure. Search and seizure is under the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment provides all individuals the protection against unreasonable search and seizure. The major task that we have for educators is that we have to ensure individual rights for the students are not being violated while maintaining a safe educational environment for all students on a school campus. And in order to do that, when searching a student, the search has to be reasonable. So school officials need reasonable suspicion to initiate a search. Reasonable suspicion would be based on information from an individual who is required reliable by school officials. This could be a teacher or any other faculty that works on a school campus. Important information that we need to know about these searches. School administrators have the authority to search lockers and desks because they're school property, and they have the authority to search vehicles because they're parked on school campus. If a school official was searching a bag or belongings of a student, they have to have strong evidence for reasonable suspicion for searching those belongings. Now, reasonable suspicion, the purpose behind it would provide evidence that a student has broken either the law or school policies, and the search must be related to whatever incident that caused the search to start. And these are the sources for that section as well.
Okay, so I will be talking about religion in the public schools. So there are different rights that teachers have and different rights that students have. So student or teachers cannot encourage or discourage any religion. They cannot participate, or they can participate in private prayer throughout the day, but they cannot enforce prayer on students throughout the day. And they cannot refuse to teach certain topics due to religion. And some examples of that would be evolution or the Alabama History Standard 8.3, where it covers the different religions such as Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam. Students, however, are also allowed to participate in private prayer throughout the day. And unlike teachers, they are allowed to express belief in homework, in assignments, and throughout the school day, according to Hood v. Medford, where they created Zach's rules. There also is the Equal Access Act, where religious groups cannot be denied access if non-curricular groups are permitted to use school facilities before or after the school day, as long as the school has open or limited open forum. So prayer and Bible reading in school. I've already touched on prayer a little bit. Students cannot be led in prayer by a school official at all. That is seen as unconstitutional. However, private voluntary prayer is permissible under the Free Exercise Clause of the First Amendment. So, Bible readings, teachers, admin cannot enforce daily Bible reading. However, the Bible may be used in certain contexts as long as it is secular. And those contexts would be historical, literary, ethical, or moral. And here are the sources where I got that information. So then I will be talking about freedom of expression. Students maintain their right to freedom of expression under certain conditions throughout the school day. So the exceptions to freedom of expression are if student expression is going to cause a disruption. And we see that in the Tinker case and the Blackwell case. Those are the two kind of pivotal cases in freedom of expression. I'm sorry. The Tinker case, if I'm not mistaken, talks about students having armbands and I'm so sorry. Students having armbands, black armbands in protest of the war. And Blackwell is the pins. Students were pinning other students, causing a disruption. In Tinker, there was no disruption. Therefore, there was a broken First Amendment, or they the First Amendment right was broken because there was no disruption in the school. In Blackwell, there was a disruption caused in the hallways in between classes, and it took away from instructional time. If it contains hate speech, so that is Nuxall versus Indian Primary School District. So in this case, we had a student wear a shirt that said something along the lines of, or had the word involving gay, and the student was forced to cover up gay because it was considered hate speech by the school board. However, the Supreme Court ruled that the student could wear it as long as the school had, or it could wear it under certain provisions with the school. If it contains questionable speech, so that's Bethel School District versus Frazier. In this case, a student was a student was making a speech in class or at an assembly and pointed out a classmate and started referencing them sexually. And in this case, it went against policy and did not fall under freedom of expression. And if it goes against already instated policies, So that would be Morse versus Frederick, where a student was at a cross-country meet and held up a poster that said "Bong hits for Jesus," which went against the policy, the anti-drug policy that the school already had. So now we have the Alabama Code of Ethics, Educator Code of Ethics, and there are non-basic standards to follow. So that is professional conduct. So that is just positivity. You want to encourage and support. Or on the other hand, would be misuse or mismanagement of tests or materials. We have trustworthiness, which would be advocating for fair and equitable opportunities for all children, or falsifying, misrepresenting, omitting, or reporting bad information regarding the evaluation of students and or professionals. Unlawful acts. An educator should abide by federal, state, and law statutes. Then we have alcohol, drug, and tobacco use and possession. So, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over teacher-student relationships as well. An educator needs to remain professional in their relationships with students in and outside of the classroom. So, you want to create a supporting and challenging environment, but you do not want to engage in harassment on the basis of race, gender, origin, religion, or disability. And then we have alcohol, drug, and tobacco use and possession. So the faculty and staff need to keep the anti-drug policy both inside and outside of the classroom. And you do not want to be promoting drug use or tobacco use on your social medias. So public funds and property. So you want to model for students and colleagues the responsible use of public property, but you do not want to misuse public or related school funds. Number 7, I struggle with this word, remunerative, there we go, conduct. So an educator should maintain integrity with students, colleagues, parents, patrons, or business when accepting gifts, gratitudes, favors, and additional compensation. Maintenance and confidentiality. So an educator should comply with the state and federal laws and local school board policies relating to the confidentiality of students and personal records, standardized test material, and other information covered by confidentiality agreements. And then lastly, we have abandonment of contract. An educator should fulfill all terms and obligations stated within their contract. So if an educator was to fail to follow any of the Alabama Educator Code of Ethics, it could result in administrative leave, loss of job, suspension of certificate, loss of certificate, and if it is illegal, jail. And there are the sources for that. Okay. Stop recording.